but an average large egg weighs around 55 to 60 grams. They also come in a whole rainbow of colors. Some people have an idea that brown eggs or green eggs are somehow inherently healthier than white eggs, but in reality, the color of the egg doesn't have anything to do with the quality of the egg. The color is determined by the breed of chicken. Leghorns lay white eggs, Rhode Island Reds lay brown eggs, and descendants of the Araucana breed lay blue or green. When we cut into it,
Jak se vidět rybí vajíčka? Ukáž? Co to?
when you shine a light through the shell of an egg to determine if it's been fertilized or not. This egg clearly hasn't been fertilized, but if it had been, you could see the outline of the chick inside and check out the embryo's development. Even though it
To je kaviár? Co to je, čet?
hasn't been fertilized, you can still see some anatomical features of the egg. You can clearly see the air cell, which would provide the chick with air until it's ready to breathe on its own, as well as the yolk floating in the albumin. Okay, so now that we've determined that there's no baby duck in this egg, it's safe to crack it open. The membrane is a little bit more tenacious than that of a chicken egg, and right off the bat,
Tohle je kaviár.
you can tell the yolk is much larger than the white,
But
which
co to je?
isn't really white at all. It's almost completely clear. The yolk is quite firm.
Čet, co je to? Tak, kámo, mi ten šik... Oh můj bože. Jsem udělal na skláčet. Já vím, že to je vajíčko.
Firm, but nowhere near as firm as the Rhea egg was. Okay, anybody order a fried duck egg?
To je kachní vajíčko.
What a beaut. What's really remarkable to me is how white the white is. It was practically clear when raw, but now that it's cooked, it's brilliantly white. That's really fascinating. All right, let's get a bite going.
Mňam.
That's delicious. Honestly, it tastes extremely similar to a chicken egg, but much richer and creamier. I think I'd have a hard time eating 2 of these for breakfast, but they'd make a great addition to an egg dish that you wanted to give a little extra richness to. Okay, let's get to our cooked duck egg dish. Egg drop soup. So, if you've never had egg drop
Jak si
soup,
go na kaviár.
size of the average
No to je, co je goose, čet?
chicken egg. It weighs around 140 grams, and the shell
Husa.
is much stronger.
Such
It has this
husa.
gorgeous matte finish, and it's slightly longer and more pointed, kind of like a cross between our duck egg and the Rhea egg.
Čet, není to tady chytrýho, vy jste prostě jenom čekali, až to napíše někdo chytré, pak se to jenom skopírovali.
As you can see, the white is thin and nearly completely clear, almost like our duck egg. That yolk is very dense feeling. I cannot wait to see this one cooked.
No tak sežrát.
Okay, so here
Já si někdy říkám, že to myslíš všechno ze srandy, protože to, co někdy vyblíš, to je fakt. Perlička LULV.
Čet, já to samozřejmě dělám na schvál, já jsem absolutně chytrý člověk. Ale já prostě ze sebe dělám debila, abych vám zlepšil den a náladu, chápeš? Já si prostě řeknu, OK, kámo, teďka budu za čuráka, ale někdo se nad tím zasměje a zlepší mu den. Čet, já bych chtěl, tak na to řeknu všechno anglicky. Ryba je fish, pes je dog, kočka je cat, slon je elephant, žirafa je giraffe, kachna je duck, slepice je kitchen, chicken, hej, čet, tohle se plete každému, OK? Chicken, yep. Malá ryba je small fish. Yes, like this.
Here we have a big, bright, beautiful yolk, and the thin white kind of ran all over the place. I'm gonna cut into it. Wow, yeah, that yolk is very, very viscous. You can see that it has a thicker texture than you
Fúha, tohle ví i moje sestra ve 3. třídě. Leda píču.
would get from a regular fried
Jak se řeknou ryby? Fish. Stejně.
chicken egg yolk.
Nedostaneme tam něčet.
Yum. It's really fatty, and the white almost has a kind
Ne,
of
čet, já vím, že to... Ryby se řekne... Fishes. Ano. Ne fish, protože to je špatně. Takže fishes s éčkem.
nutty sort of flavor with an almost mushroom-like savoriness. Ah, that's really special. I don't think I was expecting it to
Jak je kohout? I am... Chicken man. Já nevím, kámo. Přesnej dávat za otázky posraný, kurva.
It's so unique. I'm really excited to try this one in. Oh, okay. Guys, I told you, cash or check only. All right.
Moment.
Eggs in purgatory. They weigh about
OK. Peasant je bažant. A pozor. Pozor.
30 grams, and their shells have this amazing olive color and this cool teardrop shape. Let's get one open. Wow, this is harder than I thought it would be. The shell is thick and the membrane is tough. It's a bit hard to get it open. Wow. Look at that. The yolk is so yellow.
Cobra, hot is snake.
And definitely the white is kind of on the looser side. The ratio is tilted somewhat in favor of the...
Já si ten kaviár. Ukáž?
hen is a...
Čunia je... jak se to říká čet? Já nevím, jak se to říká česky, ale víte, co myslím.
tough bird. While they are domesticated, they're a lot wilder and
Karocan. Kruta.
scrappier than your average backyard chicken, and they're much better suited to extreme climates. This shell is really pretty, brown with this kind of uniform speckling all over.
On si čeká na ty naposled, že? Ukáž? Salmonella.
Important for fish eggs to have a shell since they don't have to worry about staying hydrated. The other big difference is that fish eggs are smaller. Instead of laying one egg at a time, fish lay hundreds or even thousands because rather than having a mother hen to care for them, baby fish are typically left to fend for themselves, so they have a much lower survival rate. So here we have our beautiful salmon roe. Like most other edible fish eggs, these have been cured with salt as a way of both seasoning and preserving them. As you can see, these beads have an amazing orange-red color and contain a darker part that almost looks like a yolk. We're using a mother-of-pearl spoon here because certain metals can interact with the roe in a weird way that produces off flavors. I'm gonna take a spoonful here. The eggs are so delicate. They just kind of burst at the slightest pressure, and this briny, fishy, umami-packed liquid oozes out. Yum. Ooh, it's so tasty. I just want another spoonful. And since salmon roe is so popular in Japan, we decided to make some sushi. This is just about as simple as it gets. A little nugget of seasoned sushi rice as a base, with a piece of dried, toasted seaweed, also known as nori, wrapped around it to form a vessel of sorts for a couple of spoonfuls of salmon roe, which is known as ikura in Japan. Down the hatch. That's a mouthful. The thing that's so beautiful about this is that the eggs have such a strong, salty flavor that pairing them with some mild, starchy rice makes a lot of sense. It really offsets all of that richness. And the nori adds a little bit of its own oceanic flavor. I'm lucky enough to pick caviar. As with caviar, refers to salt-cured roe from sturgeon very specifically. All caviar is roe, but only some roe is caviar. As with the salmon roe we tried, a very precise amount of salt has been added to this for taste and preservation. This is one of the
tohle je dobrý nebo ne? Já jsem to nikdy neměl. To je drahý jako kokot? Fakt? Kolik stojí kaviár? Kaviár. Shop. Je to nějaký voňavky. Počkej. $40 za tuhle pixličku. Ale cože? Tak to se posral.
Fanciest, most sought-after caviars money can buy, and I'm lucky enough to get to taste some. As you can see, the individual eggs are much smaller than the salmon eggs, and a lot darker in color, almost gray-green.
Tedy když je to tak vzácně, tak to musí být určitě i dobrý, že?
Super delicate. I'm gonna give it a taste. Super salty, but there's also a pronounced buttery, kind of nutty quality. God, that's good. Sometimes when people eat caviar, they just put some onto the back of their hand, which actually warms it up slightly to make it taste more. I could eat this whole tin. You know, and while we would never cook these, we can serve them up in style. Russian style, that is. Here we have some blini, which are little yeasted pancakes, topped with creme fraiche and a nice little plop of caviar. If I'm splurging on good caviar, this is the only way I want to eat it.
Ooh.
Simple, elegant, delicious. Gonna pop one of these right here. Amazing. The tartness of the creme fraiche is so nice.
Jako nevypadá to dobře, ale to musí být dobrý, jo.
With the brininess of...
Ta ryba je chráněná a už skoro vymřela. V Monaku tu vizu chytají pytláci, vezmou jí kaviár a zabijou. Fakt? To se žere jenom na flex, někdo si dá kokain a někdo zase kaviár. Co? To je to až tak vzácný, jo. Holy shit.
of the caviar, and the graininess of the blini mellows out the intensity of the eggs while also playing up some of its nuttiness. It doesn't get that much better than this, folks. For our next egg, we're gonna stay under the sea, but get a little bit weirder with some lobster roe. There are plenty of egg-laying fish in the sea, but we want to compare that to the eggs from a non-fish marine creature. This black, slimy stuff here is lobster roe. It's pretty gross looking, I gotta be honest. A lot of times, people would discard this stuff when they're cleaning a lobster, but even though it's gnarly looking, it actually does taste good, I swear. Let's cook this up. So, the interesting thing about lobster roe is that it turns a bright red, which is why it's also known as lobster coral. If you've ever opened up a steamed lobster and found red stuff inside, this is what it is. It smells great, very aromatic. Let's give it a little taste. It's really cool. Big oceanic flavor, and surprisingly not salty at all. It tastes really lobstery, like a concentrated lobster stock or something like that. And the texture is a little mealy, but normally you wouldn't eat it in this way. It would usually be incorporated into a sauce or something like that, which is exactly what we're going to do. Voila! So here we have some lobster tails that we've steamed, halved, and then what we've made is a little bit of a lobster butter out of the roe. We simply stirred some of that green blackish stuff into some hot drawn butter, and it immediately turned red and infused it with lobster flavor. Lobster loves butter. So tasty. It's actually pretty subtle, but the lobster roe really intensified the natural flavor of the lobster meat, really gilding the lily over here. And this feels like a really restaurant-y sort of preparation.
Slimák! Slimák! Teda šnek! Šnečí vajíčka se taky žerou. What? What?
And snail. The eggs are in between the size of our salmon roe and our sturgeon caviar, but they're bright white, like little pearls. They don't have a shell, but they do have a sturdy outer membrane, which keeps them intact, and they're salt.
Já nevím, kámo, já jsem nic takového, já jsem moje gastronomické úspěchy jsou takový, jsem žral smažený sír s tatarkou, KFCčku a knedlík, možná tak.
Cured just like other caviar-style eggs. This is pricey stuff. It's difficult to harvest, and a single snail only lays around 4 grams of eggs per year. The Romans called these the pearls of Aphrodite because they considered them to be an aphrodisiac. Well, we'll see about that. Whoa, so crazy. The beads really roll around in your mouth. They're almost hard to pop, so much firmer than the fish roes we've tried, and the flavor is wild, really mushroomy with a distinct earthy, wet moss, forest floor sort of flavor. Wow, I've truly never tasted anything like this in my life. Okay, now we're gonna try this out with some escargot. We're doubling down on the snail here, with buttery cooked burgundy snails topped with some of our snail caviar. This smells incredible. Some herbs and garlic going on in there. I can't wait to try this one. Really cool.
Kam, proč ty titulky takhle skáčou?
The eggs lend some really interesting textural contrast to that soft, tender snail meat. The delicate flavor of the eggs is getting lost a little bit here because of the escargot butter, which is so strong. But I'm definitely picking up some of that woodsy, earthy, mushroomy quality. Wow, what a treat. And there you have it, folks. 12 types of eggs.
Nice.
We tried all kinds of bird eggs, fish eggs, and even snail eggs, and each was distinctly different and delicious in its own way. Have a favorite type of egg you didn't see here today? Let us know in the comments.
Okay. Kaviár, chat, kaviár. Ukaž. Kaviár, obchod.
Podívej se do PM, poslal jsem ti IT odkaz, protože to nemůžu poslat tady Pepelau.
Pravý černý kaviár, 30 gramů za 1000 korun. Sedí to chat? Nebo to je skem? Tady je 50 gramů za 1700. A prodávají tomu i tu lžíci. Sleduj. Jak ten týpek.
No tak jsem čurák, no.
Ochšizlgner Badagadagada 793 419 Knet Fauserstlen Gablčmen Kveschnici Gvornblknen 18 469 Už 10 let uklízím po tom bílým strupovi džinsovi, ale jeho starou píchám už 12 let. Chápeš, co říkám? Trpí na čokoládový klacky.
Co kurva? Děkuji. Za 50 korun, Rafi. Děkuju. Čet, asi objednám kaviár. Dáme ochutnávku na streamu. Ty rybí vajíčka. Se pobleješ? Ne, je to hodně dobrý.